Good morning. My name is Thomas Key, and this presentation will be on the importance of the concept of Western civilization. The concept of Western civilization is important for us today because it's the story of America and the story of Christians. It's the history of my people and God's sovereignty. Unfortunately, this concept is under attack. Today, more than ever, culture is stretching the term Western civilization to be more inclusive, or academia is simply avoiding the concept because some consider it controversial. The result is a broad history of various cultures, which many are calling social studies. And this version of history is a mile wide, but only an inch deep, and it's too vague to be beneficial in an area of study. So this presentation is going to address 3 points. One, why we must protect the concept of Western civilization, and then 2 points on why the concept is under attack. In his textbook on Western civilization, Jackson Spielvogel relates the story of Muhammad Gandhi when he visits Great Britain, and a Brit asks him what he thinks of Western civilization. Gandhi replies, "I think it would be a good idea." Now, the response is both clever and accurate. Gandhi presents Western civilization not as a history to be studied, but it's an ideal that must be lived up to, cherished, and carried forward. To be sure, the concept of Western civilization is a living concept that can be improved or debased with each generation. Thus, we have an ownership in this story, and we must protect both the past, present, and future. Robert Royal, in his article, Who Put the West in Western Civilization, states it best. He says, "A civilization is not something we simply inherit or ever finally possess. Each generation, individually and collectively, needs to make a continual effort to appropriate it anew, because a civilization is not passed along to us at birth." The history of Western civilization is the history of my people. And since this history is a living concept, I and other historians must protect and fence the truth of that story. Additionally, we must understand that we are a part of that story. Our grandchildren will consider us part of the history of Western civilization. And will our grandchildren and our descendants conclude that we debased or improved that story? I hope the latter. Now, there are two main reasons why modern historians are changing the concept of Western civilization or attacking it. The first reason is they want to keep or gain a larger audience through more inclusion. According to Lawrence Birkin, quote, "A civilization may be regarded as the largest cultural unit about which a linear history may be written." Now, a linear history, such as Western civilization, naturally excludes events and people that are outside of that linear influence. America is becoming less homogeneous in religion, ethnicity, culture, and many other ways. So as this diversity increases, fewer students in academia consider themselves part of this linear history. More of them are coming from the outside influences. So some institutions decided to either offer history courses in non-Western civilization, or more commonly, the institutions will broaden the concept of Western civilization, take that linear history and expand it. And broadening the concept allows both the institutions and folks like the textbook companies to retain a large audience, thus retain large income. The second way historians and institutions are changing the concept of Western civilization is just simply to avoid it. Today, many associate Western civilization with racism and all the other isms, buzzwords of today. So rather than attempt to defend the history or correct misconceptions, institutions find it easier to go along with the cancel culture and avoid the concept of Western civilization. And according to Lawrence Birkin again, the standard Western civilization course has become a political football in recent years in the struggle between conservative forces of cultural homogeneity and the breakaway forces of cultural pluralism. So in conclusion, the concept of Western civilization is a living concept. It's important because it's the story of my people and my country, and it's under attack for various reasons. So we have the ownership and the duty to protect this concept. Thank you very much.